In 1975, an ambitious new convention experience was created in San Diego called Mega64 Expo, known by most as simply 64X. The event celebrated the comedy video career of Mega64, an entertainment property that would not exist for another 28 years. Unsurprisingly, the confusion behind the concept left the event largely ignored and unnoticed for decades. However, in the year 2020, the world, but mostly the convention world, changed radically forever. That year, when most in-person events and gatherings were canceled due to the ongoing pandemic, 64X became the #1 convention in the world. This is in part because of how entertaining and charismatic the boys of Mega64 were, but mostly, the event skyrocketed to the top because of how it was executed. While people at home were stuck inside and missing the convention experience, 64X brought all of these memories to them virtually. For better or worse, every part of being at a convention was broadcast from 64X. The horrors of event parking, overpriced food, public bathrooms. Every moment was there at a time where people were actually beginning to miss them. Those who attended the show in person were met with a series of interesting and thought-provoking panels, with subjects ranging from Hollywood superhero reboots to religious media discussion. Since every other event in the world was still canceled, and there was literally nothing else to do in July of 2020, Mega64 was able to parlay the demand into thousands of online viewers, as well as 60,000 in-person attendees with no restrictions at all. When concerns about the pandemic or possible viral outbreak were mentioned, Mega64 addressed them with hard data, explaining that most attendees were dressed as Deadpool, whose mask was scientifically proven to filter most viral loads. And also, because of the nature of the character in a convention setting, most people would not want to be within 6 feet of them anyway. This logic did not ultimately matter, since over 20,000 attendees were found to be infected and did not make it to the event, or any event, in the following months. Even though the event was a hit, this was the beginning of a slow public realization. Mega64 was not equipped to run a live event. They lacked the experience and professionalism needed to carry the event off safely. Many gave them the benefit of the doubt, due to them being so charismatic and funny. But the truth continued to rise to the top as the following years exposed their neglect. Despite the controversies, 64X returned in 2021 as big as ever, featuring panel discussions with the biggest voice actors in animation history, and a record-breaking musical performance by EDM artist DJ Doug Pound in the 64X concert hall. To this day, many call the 64X 2021 Masquerade one of the best showcases of cosplay in modern history. But behind all of the successes, something did not smell right, and unfortunately, that smell was smoke. Due to faulty smoke detectors, an electrical fire crawled its way through the building over the course of the entire day. It wasn't noticed until the end-of-day anime rave, in which the one working alarm in the building finally detected the smoke. Unfortunately, it was too late by this point, as the rave room was the only place that had not yet been burned to cinder with everyone inside. The crew of Mega64 were seen on camera debating the legitimacy of the alarm, as they had been pranked by a false pull years ago at Screw Attack Gaming Convention when Craig the Tyrant cheated with a faulty copy of Kirby Superstar. The decision was made to continue the rave, ultimately leading to all members of Mega64 suffering extreme smoke ventilation. The rave's official livestream shows each member of the group struggle to regain bodily function over the course of a half an hour, the broadcast ending on their unmoving bodies. These final images sent a message across the internet. Mega64, the comedy group we had enjoyed for almost 2 decades, was dead. Or so we thought. It was revealed that the plans to revive 64X were underway, and that the Mega64 crew were not actually dead, just extremely injured with lung damage from the anime rave fire. The plan was to make the show bigger and better than ever in order to entice guests and win back goodwill. To achieve this, Mega64 booked their most spacious and deluxe venue yet, with all new on-site activations exclusive to a new VIP attendee badge. This ultimately backfired as several major factors kept people away in droves, leading to a record in-person VIP attendance of 1. One single attendee by the name of Johnny Wise, who bought the VIP badge even though everybody told him it was a stupid idea. Several factors led to a complete departure of all attendees. The first was the public outcry from 64X staff members claiming they had never been paid, eventually leading to a public strike and boycott against the company. Many potential attendees simply didn't want to cross the picket line, or worse, potentially anger a massive flock of Deadpool cosplayers. The other reason for lack of attendance was public fear that Mega64 had not properly addressed the fire safety issues from 64X 2021. This fear was justified, as a major fire ended up killing comedian Joe Rumrill in the middle of his stand-up set. However, due to the massive unneeded size of the new convention hall, the rest of the event could still continue, giving live stream viewers, as well as several hundred in-person attendees who were begged outside to come in for free, a glimpse at upcoming Hollywood movies like The Goonies' grandkids, as well as Sonic the Hedgehog movie producer Tylen Hess showing tons of artwork that would clearly be used as concept work for future Sonic titles. The problems with the show continued to mount, however, coming to a head during the anime figurines panel where it was discovered that the venue had been double booked with a women's wrestling organization. Viewers were enraged to see countless precious anime figurines, some of which were really cool and maybe even kind of hot, get broken all over the place. Regardless of the infinite disasters, Mega64 sold enough merch and stylish apparel online that at the end of the event, they were able to finally pay their employees. This was also a disaster, as paying them led to their immediate bankruptcy. The world once again assumed 64X was over and gone for good, and they would be right, in an alternate dimension, where 64X never came back. That's not this dimension we live in. It did come back. Only this time, instead of returning bigger and better, the Mega64 crew was bankrupt like I said a few seconds ago, and brought the show back with basically no budget at all. 64X 2023 was mostly hosted from the garage at Sean's house, with panels and other presentations happening at neighbors' houses and driveways. But even in the stripped-down format, things started to fall apart. Legendary director Tim Burton was advertised for the show and never showed up. A promised new performance from fallen comedian George Carlin ended up being loose footage of a total stranger performing stand-up to some ducks by a lake at night. Even the convention's in-person announcers failed to do their job. At one point rumored to be the band Nirvana, these two completely unknown men struggled with their jobs, a stress that carried onto the screen and into viewers' homes in an unsettling manner. When actress Jenna Ortega failed to materialize for an exclusive interview about Wednesday Season 2, the verdict was in. 64X was an abject failure. No one wanted the event to continue. A convention that was already lacking safety was now also lacking entertainment. It could go no further. 64X had to die. But one company did not feel the same way. Somehow, miraculously, in 2024, 64X was announced to be returning with their first ever major corporate sponsor, Giuseppe's Caffeinated Pizza Rolls, a product made by one of the world's 5 foremost food production companies, Gallagher Scrims. Gallagher Scrims was going to fully fund the event in the biggest, most lavish form that the show had ever seen. Due to unparalleled advertising funded by massive food corporation Machine, Mega64 Expo 2024 saw the biggest pre-registration numbers ever, and was watched by millions online in what was possibly the biggest live stream of all time. But the glee of these milestones did not last long, as rumors quickly spread of an attendee that ate 2 caffeinated pizza rolls and immediately died. The victim was Jared, who helped countless gamers get good deals on video games with his cool tweets. The gaming community, the convention community, and the community of humanity at large was broken in ways that words could not describe. The sorrow was palpable, a bitter taste, only outranked by the stench of its unanswerable question. Why? Why has Mega64 been allowed to continue the 64X show? A viral pandemic with no precautions, a fire left to claim countless souls, another fire that claimed one more soul, the rampant destruction of cool figurines that I wanted, the endless false advertising, the waste of attendees' time and money, and now the death of one of the online world's coolest gamers. There is no further argument, no further debate. Mega64 must end. 64X as an event cannot and should not ever again be supported. To do so is, without exception, morally wrong and at best, humanly reprehensible. All members of this long-forgotten comedy group must cease all future productions, answer for their crimes, and face the consequences. Let me be clear to my 1.94 million subscribers. Mega64 is a criminal organization, and any support of 64X should be against the law. When will the suffering end? When will the monsters be brought to appropriate justice? When will the victims see their justice from the afterlife beyond? These questions can be answered by you, and you alone. It is in your power, and your power alone. End 64X for good. Let Mega64 die, once and for all. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to watch my new 6.5-hour documentary about a specific type of Twizzlers they only sold at one German theme park.